If I gave a fuck what y'all think I would be doing this? Welcome to the FMFU podcast, the podcast that's from me, for us. Vulgar but true, real and never fake. I'm your host, Ayo Reese, and I've got a lot of shit on my mind today, so let's get into it. Howdy, people, and welcome to 2018. How's everyone out there doing today on this fine Friday? If applicable, I hope you're surviving well in this snow blizzard that blasted the whole fucking United States from Florida all the way to Maine. Luckily for me, I had yesterday off, so I enjoyed that shit with lots of hot chocolate, a little bit of Crown Royal, and lots of doing nothing. I'll take that free fucking day. But 2018 is here, baby. And apparently it wants to make a statement early by saying we're going to feel this fucking snow wrath. Shaking my damn head. But aside from the cold, I hope everyone had an excellent Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or whatever else you fucking celebrate or pretend you're celebrating. Are you ready for New Year, New Me? No, you're not. Because I already said last episode, 2 weeks ain't gonna change shit. But let's see if we can try to get you started on somewhat the right foot this new year with another enlightening episode, as always, the FMFU podcast. Bitch! So Christmas was great. I love the holidays for being able to put a smile on people's faces. Everybody loves to get gifts, and it's always good to see their reactions when they finally open what they get. And you appreciate it more when you can tell they're really excited and you put a lot or even just a little bit of thought into it. And hey, I just like to feel appreciated, I guess. One thing I fucking feel appreciated about is we officially have a air fryer in our house. Yeah, a fucking air fryer. If you follow me on Snapchat, you probably have seen we've been air frying chicken like every other day using this shit. Like, when I tell you this shit really works, this shit really works. Chicken be about crispy as fuck with no flour and no fucking grease. This is a black man's dream, goddammit. So I'm just so fucking excited I have one. I also got a Google Mini in my house now. My boy had one. Well, he has a regular Google Home, and I've seen how it's worked in action a little bit. But, actually having one on my own, shit is pretty neat. But I ain't gonna lie, man, that hoe is disrespectful. Like, sometimes I tell her to do something, she don't want to do it, but then, let somebody else in the house want to fucking tell her to do it, and this bitch acts like she want to listen all the way from across the fucking room. And I'm like, bitch, I was like right up on you talking, and you don't want to listen. But whatever, man. I'd be ready to dog her shit. But no, it's a cool device. I plan on getting some smart plugs and some other home automation cool shit. But I probably won't do none of that until I move into a house or something. But besides them two things, man, Christmas is cool. The main thing though, my daughter, man, she got all kinds of shit. Like so much shit. Like we barely have any fucking room for her. Like we had all these presents out for her. She likes Peppa Pig, so we had the Peppa Pig shit out. As far as the wrapping paper, so she was just tearing that shit apart. My mother wrapped some shit in Minnie Mouse. She was tearing that shit up, just opening every goddamn thing, like all in one day. And I made about like 30 or 40 fucking trips to the dumpster, and it was single digits all week. So I was pretty fucking mad. But yeah, that's fatherhood, right? It's just, man, it's toys be all over the goddamn place, man. Like, so, like, I catch myself making sure now, like, I always have my slides on every day in the house because, y'all, I stepped on a Lego barefoot the other day, Yo, that shit felt like fucking death. Like, I seen that meme one time that had posted some shit like, "Oh, you don't know what this feeling is until you step on one of these barefoot," or something like that. And I fucking see what it's talking about now. That shit hurt. Like I was ready to dog everybody. Like, don't step on no Lego barefoot, bro, when you ain't paying attention. It's gonna really fuck with you. But oh yeah, and this is another thing I noticed over Christmas break. Did you know that someone is selling a holy meme Bible on Twitter? Man, I saw this shit. I thought it was a fucking joke. Like I was like, thought I was tripping. I'd like double take. I'm like, really? There's a holy meme Bible? Like, you know how you be typing shit or talking about shit, and then like, you know, you'll see like fucking ads for it, like on your Instagram or anything, and it kind of creeps you the fuck out. Well, I thought it was one of those situations, but like, no, this is actually like a page, and like somebody was like selling these shits. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like, it's just such a coincidence how you can talk about the same thing. Somebody already has a similar idea. Not that I was gonna come up with a meme Bible, but I played off of that just being funny, and somebody's really out here selling fucking meme Bibles. It's just hilarious. So I think I got to figure out where the page is exactly because I didn't follow the person, but I definitely had to cop one because you know how we do it on a FMFU podcast. We have our meme congregations with Pastor Brown, and you know we need to bring the word of God to all the children. Shit, man. What the fuck else happened over break since we're doing a little bit of catching up? Did you guys miss me at all? Like, I mean, I know it's only been like 2 weeks, but I mean, I try to be that little light, you know, in your Friday, but you know, even if you didn't, fuck you. But anyway, so yeah, my mother, she had gifts for Madison, and then she came up and visited, and then also my grandmother came up and visited for pretty much I was up here for the week, so you know, it was good. You know, I was able to get everybody together, you know, spend time with the family, and I was off, so we got to hang out, showed them around a little bit, and most importantly, they got to hang with my crazy kid. She's crazy about her grandparents, so that makes me happy. But overall, man, it was just a good week of laughs. Everybody enjoyed each other's company. We all went over to the in-laws' house. They be throwing down. It'd be like a billion people in this house. Like when I literally say like this house, it's like 50 people and we all be crammed in. It's literally about maybe 60 people and we all be crammed in. But it be plenty of food and that shit be good and it's always worth it. So when you eat good and you drink good, you can't really fucking complain. I had some coquito too, man. I got all the ingredients. My mother, she made some coquito. And yeah, I was on that shit too. So that shit's pretty good. I'm not a big fan of eggnog, but the coquito's good. That's Puerto Rican eggnog rum, if you don't know. But definitely fun on break. I was not looking forward to you know, going back to work on Wednesday. But hey, I got a break and got Thursday off. So hey, I can't complain about that. Thank you, Snow. But all of that is what the holidays are about around Christmas time. New Year's though, man, it's pretty chill. I hit a little cookback. What the fuck? I hit a little kickback over at my man's house, and I think them single digit temps kind of just put me out of the mood to really do anything crazy. Like I usually think of New Year's as being on some Diddy Ciroc commercial type shit. Like anytime I see the Ciroc commercials, and it's a word of my man's on No Rules because he said the same shit. Anytime I see a Diddy Ciroc commercial, like the one where they went to, like, especially the one that stands out to me where they went to Vegas and, he was in the suits and he was dancing with the girls and, it was playing, I think it was like old Frank Sinatra and shit. Like that, just like that is what a New Year's Eve celebration is like to me. Like the most popping one, at least, getting fly, be on your fly shit, drinks, you hang with a bunch of pretty women, you name it. Ain't that what the bitch said? But I didn't do none of that, man, because I think just because it was cold, also I had the Ebony Gala a couple weeks ago. I told y'all about that last episode. And honestly, a nigga just was not trying to pay mad bread to get super fly again. So it was just laid back. Christmas already got me feeling like a pledged member of Broke Five Broke. We ain't got it. But over the course of my holiday break, something interesting went down. My mind got to going and that brought me here to episode 007, the first episode of 2018. So let's rewind it back to the beginning and let's get into my thoughts.
It's the FMFU podcast, bitch.
Sports and holidays are something that is becoming synonymous nowadays. Starting about 80 years ago, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions started playing football on Thanksgiving Day. The Lions, no matter how shitty they are, no matter how shitty they play. It's crazy to think it's been this long, but yes, again, the Lions play football on every Thanksgiving. Get it? Got it? Good. Along with the Lions, another team that plays on Thanksgiving every year, which I don't think it's been 80 years, but it's been a while, is the Dallas Cowboys, aka America's team. Anyway, we can expect to see these two teams compete against a different opponent every year. Christmas is becoming basically a mirror to Thanksgiving, but instead of football, we get what? Drama-filled NBA action. All the matchups get set, and it's just a big-ass drama-filled Christmas basketball soap opera day. The scenarios are almost the same every year because when making the schedule, well, they based it on what happened the previous season. They put a couple young, up-and-coming teams of the future against each other. They put some competitors that had beef from the playoffs the previous year against each other. And last but certainly not least, they put on the finals rematch. Now, what makes the finals rematch very interesting is Christmas Day has, well, at least for the past few years, has been them meeting for the first time in the regular season. So, for the past 3 years, we've had the pleasure of watching the Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Golden State Warriors. Now, regardless of what anyone says or what your team is, the finals regular season rematch, the first meeting on Christmas, that shit is the main event. And everything else is just good storylines, or, maybe future matchups that might happen. The finals rematch is varsity, and everybody else is JV. I'm from Marcy. I'm varsity chump, you JV. Jigga Jay-Z. That's Brooklyn's finest, if y'all don't know. But, and not the guy, the song. Anyways, the interesting thing that happened during the course of the game when I was watching was, mind you, I'm in a whole room full of Boston people or Boston area people or wherever the fuck they're from. And bullshit you not, this whole fucking room is rooting for punk-ass Golden State. Now, some people who's listening, they might think, well, what's wrong with that, bro? They don't have to root for who you want to win. I understand, but hear me out. Let me break it down because I don't want anybody to get this shit twisted. In my eyes, and because I feel I'm always right, because I usually am always right, there's rules to this rooting shit. If you're rooting for a team because you live in the area of the team, obviously you would root for them. That's your home team. Like, there's no question about that. If you're from an area of what you would consider your home team, but you moved away from your hometown. Take myself, for example. Everybody know I'm from... I live in Boston. So, I live in Boston, but I root for the Cavs. That makes sense, too. I'll even give you another scenario. Let's say you're from an area or a state that has no professional team. And think of 2 states, Alabama or Virginia. They don't have any professional teams. So, by the sports rules, if we want to call them, you can root for pretty much anybody. You have no professional team in those states, so you can't really have any loyalty to a professional team. Hence, a lot of Virginia and Alabama cats I know were Kirby dick eaters once upon a time and still try to claim they're Laker fans, even though they're really not. They were just Kobe fans. And I always tell them it's okay. You can say you were Kobe fans. Like, because that nigga wanted to trade in 07, and if they would have gave it to him, you would have followed that nigga. Just like a lot of niggas follow LeBron. But anyway, I also believe that if you have been a fan of a certain team for a long time, even if you live in an area that has what would be considered a professional team, that's okay, but it's only with a few stipulations. So let's say you don't live near the team you like, such as Cowboy fans, Oakland Raider fans, fans that stick with their long distance team even when they're trash. Like, you're not gonna be from a place and then you're rooting for them when they're good, and then when they're trash you're like, oh, I don't fuck with them, or vice versa. You know, you're just not rooting just when they're good. You know, that's true fan loyalty to me, is when you're rooting for them when they're still bad, even though that's your team from a distance. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. My man Aaron, one of the hosts of the No Rules podcast. Make sure you tune in and subscribe and catch their drops every Friday. He's from New England, Rhode Island to be specific, and he's a diehard Raiders fan. But the thing is, he's been a Raiders fan for a while, and they haven't been close to winning the Super Bowl since Rich Gannon, Jerry Rice, and them played back in 2002. So clearly there's no bandwagon fandom going on there. But getting to my original point, my issue and why I was dogging everybody asses out during the Christmas game, because as soon as I come in the door, everybody got something to say. Oh, Reese, them Cavs getting beat. Oh, they trying to cheat the rent out the game. Blah, blah, fucking blah. My issue was, how the fuck you rooting for Golden State, but you a diehard, quote unquote, Celtics fan? And y'all motherfuckers running around here telling me, this day year, LeBron needed Kyrie, it's over for them. They gonna take it. How the fuck you rooting for two teams? That don't sound like team loyalty to me, does it? Now, my only guess, which actually was confirmed by people there, was that, well, niggas rooting for Golden State to beat them because they playing against LeBron. Now, that's some straight sucker shit, right? Like, and a lot of fans in Boston never understand why people don't like them when it comes to sports. On top of the Red Sox fan who was screaming out nigger at Adam Jones during the ML baseball game last year. But that's in the past. That's in the past. We're going to keep that in 2017. We in 2018 now. Woo! But stuff like that is very annoying. It's like, why you feel the need to hate on little ass Cleveland? Like, it's not like it's like a prime location to want to live, or, they teams win all the fucking time. I mean, God. The fucking Browns just went 0-16, bro. Let's not even talk about that. I mean, but keeping it with basketball, you just hating because it's a LeBron team? It's not our fault. One of the top 2 basketball players in the history of the game grew up in Cleveland's backyard and got drafted by the whole team? Shaking my damn head. But karma's a bitch. Henceforth, the Wizards whoops the Celtics' ass. So everybody in the room all had to shut up for the day. Because to me, the Wizards aren't even that good. As we say on the streets, ball don't lie. Moving on, though. I didn't just look at this situation as just strictly hate. I always try to look at things, as I've told y'all in numerous episodes before, I don't like to look at things as a straight and narrow path. There's too many different people in the world. There's too many different ideas. And there's too many different thought processes to just look like that. I mean, we can't do it. So, in the thick of things, and I'm sitting here and I'm pondering, and I'm like, man, yeah, this is going on episode 7 because this is relevant. We're going to talk about Christmas and we're going to roll into this. I come to the conclusion that the truth is, us as people, it doesn't matter if we're millennials, old people, or whoever, we have a problem. And that problem is something which I'm going to call greatness fatigue. Well, what is greatness fatigue, you ask? This is something that I didn't find online as like a Webster dictionary definition or anything, but when I hear this term, it's something that I look at as when someone or something has been so good are so dominant, are so relevant for so long that fans of that said event get fatigued of it. This happens in all avenues of entertainment, whether it be music, television, actors, actresses, food, anything you can think of, really. But to elaborate more on the topic, I'm going to take the path of relevancy and let's stick to sports. Now, I'm starting to see things typed online, chirped on Twitter, and even starting to get to the streets and the barbershop. Fatigue is beginning to kick in, and whispers are going around throughout some of the fans of the NBA world, not all, that Kevin Durant has surpassed and is better than LeBron James. Now, if that is the most blasphemous shit I've ever heard, then I'm not sure what is. It's also very hypocritical in talks of basketball. Let me break it down for y'all. Think about how we as people measure things. We as people like to measure greatness in anything on scales that benefit our argument. Think about those random Twitter pages and random Facebook memes that post stats about a player. If they're trying to highlight a player, then they're going to only post positive things about an athlete to keep the perception positive. You don't want to highlight on anything negative. It's similar to giving a report in your college class. But if they're trying to paint a negative picture to protect a different player, let's say, they're going to only highlight the areas that said person is worse than the player that they're trying to protect. So you've got like brainwashing sports media fucking television places like ESPN, and then you got like Skip Bayless on FS1, who they do shit, they'll bring up LeBron versus MJ. And the main argument is 3 rings versus 6 rings, which 6 is more, so MJ is better. I'm okay with that argument if the scale we're going to use is rings, based on being the best player on your team. The number 6 is in fact greater than 3. But ultimately, if we're using that scale, there's a hole in the argument because, well, Bill Russell got a level 11 while playing for the Celtics. And this nigga was a player coach. So going off of a scale of only rings, which is the argumentative scale that gets used, the number 11 is in fact greater than 6. However, when this gets brought up to poke a hole in that theory of how rings make you the best if you only got 6 but another nigga got 11, well, there'll always be some type of excuses, to tip the scale and make it sound like, it's not as great of an accomplishment. Shit around the lines of like, well, there was only 10 teams in the league when Russell got his, and I don't know, whatever else of an excuse that comes out to diminish it. Hey, bro, 10 teams are not, we can't sit here and act like 11 rings ain't a fuck ton of rings, but we as people, overall, we let the brainwashing media use arguments like that to steer us like sheep. We'll let the 10-team thing diminish those 11 rings and go back to MJ as the best, as 6 rings is greater than 3 rings. So, my greatness fatigue issue is that people are trying to say that KD's better than LeBron. But you say MJ is better than LeBron because of 6 rings, right? So, with LeBron, who's sitting on 3 rings, to KD's Steph Curry coattail ride in 1 ring, how is the narrative now that KD is better than LeBron? Your scale is unbalanced, bro. You can't base the LeBron versus MJ argument on rings and say MJ's better because he got 6 rings against a league full of 29 or 30 teams, since Russell only had 10 teams and we disqualifying him, then say KD is better when he only got 1 ring and got it by joining a 73-win team and quite possibly the greatest team in history to be all the way 1,000 with you. I mean, to get his shit, your scale is unbalanced, bro. But let's look at my initial point though. Part of this argument, though, has to do with fatigue of a great, or as I called it, greatness fatigue, right? LeBron's been killing it at the highest level for 15 years. And even if we consider MJ the best, there's never been a player on LeBron James' level. And even the only one who the media or people have even dared to challenge MJ for the throne has been LeBron. Sorry, Kobe fans. The narrative was never there for him. And I respect the hell out of Kobe, but I mean, these are just facts I'm speaking. That narrative never really came up like that. But with that being the case, of a guy who's been great for so long, we let this fatigue of the great set in our mind. And we try to move on from it because we think, oh, it's getting old. He always does that, or whatever, is always like that. And we want to see what the new thing is, or like what's the new thing that can be deemed the new number one. Or, for this example, what player? Remember 2 years ago when the Warriors were on their way to rattling off their 73 win season, and the narrative going around was that, nigga, Steph Curry run the league now, nigga. This is the league of Curry now. What happened to all that talk? This is all a greatness fatigue narrative, because you don't dare hear anyone say Steph runs the league now, and it isn't like KD was trash before and all of a sudden got better. KD game has been the same as has LeBron's, who continues to get better and actually has better numbers in year 15. So it can't be better, man. I mean, just don't do that. You kind of, like, here's even another example to break it down. Because a lot of people probably think, oh, nigga, you're being biased. That's your guy. Nah, man, I'm not going to sit here and, I told you, it's unbiased facts. Like, it's just the truth. But here's another example, just to put things in perspective for you in a more simpler term. Remember being a kid and you would get a new toy, and the new toy probably felt more exciting or better at the time because it was new, right? Shit, matter of fact, I don't even got to talk about when you were a kid. Hell, even now as an adult, when you get a new gadget, you start to forget about the old gadget. But a lot of times in the end, if you had to choose which one was the best one, would choose that original toy or gadget as the better of the two. That's how we are. We have short attention spans, and we're in constant search for something new. Ladies, that's why Tyrone cheats on you. I'm only kidding. Please don't kill me. But in all seriousness, I even try to make these episodes like not too extremely long. I try to find that sweet spot, because when they're too long, people probably stop listening and start doing other things, which causes them to miss the message. Y'all motherfuckers probably were the type who were rushing to be an adult, and now that you're older, you realize the bills suck and you wish you could have your only concern be grade school shit. In conclusion, appreciate the great things while we have them. Don't be like Offset and get caught up over some shit from months ago when you got Cardi B, the new queen of rap. At least according to y'all. Cardi B came on the scene and grinded from Love and Hip Hop and is engaged to Offset. Besides being with one of the Migos, she has been making like mad fucking hits, bro. Like, I'll be real. Like, I think I've only heard maybe one verse that she's rapped on that wasn't hot. And it wasn't that it was a bad verse. It just wasn't as fire to me as all the others I've heard, because pretty much all the other verses I've heard have been fire. So I respect the hustle as I respect it for anyone out here trying to get their paper, especially when you're just being yourself. But with all the sheep followers and no one able to think for themselves in the world, issues pop up as always. You know what really grinds my gears? Y'all hoes love Cardi B because you think she give you a pass to be ratchet, but you're not Cardi B, sis. Now, this isn't her fault or even in her control, so I have no issue with what she does because she owns who she was and where she came from, and now she getting money. But my problem is with followers. Too many women in this world seem to not to be able to think for themselves. I mean, think about who people, they don't use the word or say role models as much because everybody wants to seem independent. But most of these women's role models, they're not like, oh, that girl's a nurse in the hospital and she grinded hard in school and she's helping people. That's my role model. Or, oh, that girl's a teacher at the local kindergarten for underprivileged students, in the public school system, and she's helping to build a foundation for the youth, excuse me. That's my role model. It's usually someone who is on the scene and someone who you can visually see out there living this, what we think is life. Uh, Going like, let's use Cardi B for an example. She lived her life how she want because, well, she got a music career and she making bank. So when you got it like that, you can do what you want. You can be out there. Y'all chicks work at the Waffle House on the weekends. I mean, besides trying to worry about role modeling and trying to look good all the fucking time, y'all need to be more concerned about learning better fucking customer service and how not to be rude with your punk ass. There's also hypocrisy within it because I see chicks all the time say, I want a man to do this. I want a man to do that. Our men need to do this. But these hoes still steady be fucking around with the same type of niggas they claim they don't want. These are the type of chicks that put up a status saying, New Year, new me, only concerned are me and my insert number of children in the blank space here. She only saying that because, well, she got played by the type of nigga that she claims she doesn't want. And in reality, she just gonna go back to the nigga as soon as the calendar turns. If you was a hoe in 2017, you still a hoe in 2018. This is not like buying a brand new iPhone 10. Yo, whole story, quote unquote, cannot be deleted like how little kids delete the porn history on their web browsers. Your pussy counter doesn't reset with the change of the calendar, girl. Your pussy is like mileage on a car. Niggas just gotta be careful and pull the hoe facts. But ladies, you can redeem yourself though. Start going to church. Start doing other things besides just going to the club and worrying about what your cool celebrities are doing. Get a trade. Do something. Like, it's a damn shame when I see chicks that are like 35 plus still on Facebook talking about free my nigga, do this, do that. Like, free who? Like, man, let your nigga moving that shit like Tony Montana numbers. Like, you need to get off of that. Because if not, you ain't nothing but a cluck.
It's the FMFU podcast, bitch.
You know what else has really been grinding my gears? There's this goddamn meme going around. And it's been about the fucking $25 wedding ring. So, of course, it's going on and it's like, oh, ladies, if your man proposed with this $25 wedding ring, what are you going to say? And it's been a lot of mixed, reactions. A lot of females, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to give y'all credit. A lot were saying, oh, no, it doesn't matter. We can get, something bigger later. A lot of like, nah, it got to be at least this price. And I think to each his own. I understand because some of the arguments made sense. So, some of the people saying it don't matter because they said, well, we can spend our money on other things. We don't need a big wedding. We can put that money up towards something else and buy a house for the future for our kids or buy a new car or something like that. That makes perfect sense. But then you got other people who are like, well, this nigga can only spend $25 on me for a ring, but this nigga buying Jordans and sneakers and shit. I understand that. I'd be pretty pissed off too. I'm not gonna lie. But I think ultimately, it to each his own. You shouldn't let no nigga dictate your worth though. Like if you feel like you worth $1,000,000, and even if that nigga buys you a $25 ring, at the end of the day, bitch, he said he want to marry you. Like you better take that fucking $25 ring, say yes, and then y'all figure it out later. And then if he ain't about to be worth a fuck before y'all get married, and you really find out other things about him that he's selfish or something, then you just say, nigga, take your $25 ring back, nigga. I'm gonna keep it moving. That's up to y'all, man. Like, figure that shit out. But at the end of the day, it ain't about material shit, man. That shit is really sticking out to me. What y'all think? I'm gonna ask y'all on social media too after I post this. I really want to know what's your biggest. What do you if some nigga propose, you in love with this nigga, y'all together for 5 years, 4 years, however long, and he's like, man, I want to marry you, da 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 da, but it's like a $25 ring. Like, are you gonna just be like no, or are you gonna be like, well, can we get a bigger one after he proposes? Like, what's your initial reaction gonna be? Like, and how would you handle that? Like, would you expect him, if you said no, that you want a bigger ring, to just be with you? Or would you expect him to dump your ass? I'll tell you one thing personally. I don't give a fuck. $25 ring, $500 ring, $1,000 ring, $3,000 ring. If I seen this other shit too. If I fucking propose and you say no, man, we probably gonna be over. Because that shit's gonna, I'm gonna feel some type of way. And I probably will never get over that shit. I don't give a fuck if you come back a week later and you like, I mean, yo pussy gotta be fire, bro. Like, you gotta be, like, you gotta really be just that, I don't know. You gotta have that spell on me, I guess, for that to ever happen. But I never would ever, well, I ain't gonna do that. It's impossible for me to do shit now. But I would never, if able, to put myself in that situation where I'm gonna ask if I'm not 100% fucking sure. So fellas, don't do that shit to yourselves. And if you can't afford it and you out here buying J's, then you need to buy more than $25 ring. So it's just my 2 cents for y'all motherfuckers. Big shout out to 2018. I've been waiting for the calendar to turn since probably middle of last year, because things I got lined up this year that were unable to happen, until this year. So I'm very excited. 2017 saw me transition to a new location. So now 2018 is gonna be the equity years, I'm gonna call it. About to be traveling again. I traveled a lot last year, but I'm planning on doing a lot of traveling this year. I got a couple things I gotta go to, a couple events. Back trying to get fresh on niggas, man. Back on my sneaker shit. I just bought me a fucking pair of LeBron 15s. I haven't on LeBrons in years, man. But had a couple niggas trying to hate on my shit. But I told them, nigga, they team trash. That's the only reason they trying to hate. But just call me BOMB Reese. That's AKA back on my bullshit. But I got big plans for the FMFU podcast as well. I plan on doing a couple of live episodes sometime. I'm kind of like, I kind of like to plan my shit out and put it all together like a fucking episode more of anything. I'm not really a big freestyle type guy when it comes to this, because I got so much going on. I need to put it all in one straight line. But I plan on having some shit lined up. Maybe do a couple live episodes. I think that'd be fun. Facebook Live, maybe get some shit popping on YouTube. Just a couple ideas, depending on when I'm able to find the time as well. It's fucking difficult to get this shit done every week as I do it, but I know that I set a goal for myself to have it get put out, so I make sure I do anything I can to get this shit done. But I want to get more people involved. As I said last year, I've got a lot of people, as I'm running into them, a lot of people I talked to on New Year's Eve, saying they want to come on, record an episode. We talk about different shit, just whatever. And shit like that is fun to me, like, because you got to think about it, man. Us as black, we do this shit on the regular. All we do is talk shit. So why not put a platform on it and give your insight to everybody, and then even give people a chance to respond back to it and create educational conversation and different ways of thinking. I think that's how we can all grow. I got a collab episode I plan on cooking up with my boys over at the No Rules podcast. I'm gonna try to get down there and link up with them, get on some Huncho Jack Huncho type shit. But I gotta wait till this fucking snow starts to melt, man. Like, there's so much goddamn snow out here. So hopefully, maybe in the spring sometime, we get down there and make that shit happen. And just keep on rocking, man. I'm trying to have some fun. It's gonna be a good year, and I can't wait to continue sharing with you all. Leg out. Thank you for listening to the FMFU podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to receive all the latest podcasts when they release. Also, be sure to follow FMFU on Twitter and Instagram at FMFU_podcast. Remember, people, if no one is going to be honest with you, your boy Reese will. And that's always. Until next time, fuckers.